welcome back to Final Fantasy XIV, where we are in the Red Bill's Nest to continue the Shadows of Mhach. Freedom for our skies. Leofard wishes you to join him in his questioning of Radlia. We might be waiting a while before Radlia finally decides to wake up, but not so long that you got time to flit away on some other adventure. Come join me in my quarters and we can ask her a few questions as soon as she's ready to talk. Radlia was mourning the entire trip back to the Parrock. It can't have been a pleasant experience being dragged around by that nasty fiend. Anyway, let's go haunt the captain's quarters and she regains her senses. Oh there. Might as well make yourself comfortable while you wait on Radlia. Besides, after fighting through the ruins, I'd wager you could use the rest. Where's the rest of my crew? Surely there were other survivors? Tell me, Radlia, what drove you to risk exploring old Mhach? The compass sent you there, aye. But you were after the Void Ark. You knew something, didn't you? I found a book. We are looting these strange ruins in the Sea of Clouds, and one of the lads dug up a tome. It had passages which described the Void Ark and a powerful relic called the Null Stone. A tome scribed by a Mhach sorcerer, mayhap? Captain, would you happen to know the author of his work? The words are muddled by obscuring magics, and 1500 years have faded its pages. There's much that remains illegible, but what little my darling Cutthroat and I could decipher suggests it was written by a mage of exceptional status. See for yourself. If what the book says is true, the Ark is a source of immeasurable power. With that ship under my command and the mysteries of Mhach in my possession, I had thought to crown myself Queen of the Skies. And look how that turned out. What manner of sky pirate, what manner of queen can't even keep her own crew alive? Radlia, was it not? Would I be correct in assuming you seek revenge against the Void Sent who slaughtered your comrades? Of course I want revenge! That hell-spawned shite gobbler killed my crew! If he were here right now, I'd gouge out his eyes and choke him to death with my bare bloody hands! You're not alone in your desire to bring an end to these abominations, Captain. Will you not join us in our endeavor to secure peace for the skies? Will you not join the Talon's strength to ours? What strength? The way things are right now, I doubt I could keep the peace in a monastery. This has not to do with personal grudges either. I just don't have a man. All my best fighters died in the ruins, and the dregs that are left are scarce and sharp enough to be called talents. Did you leave your spine back in the ruins, Radlia? You've had your wings clipped and no mistake, but that's no reason to give up the life. I thought we'd rescued a sky pirate, not some cur that turns tail when a pack ain't there to bite for her. I know what you're trying to do, Red Bill, but I've lost my taste for glory. You can have a cursed book. Just be sure to make that bastard pay. Hey Thurber, how quickly do you think you can decipher that ratty old tome? I need you to figure out exactly how your relic works. Aye, you sent that one fiend squealing in fear, but that ain't enough. From what you told me, we'll need to aim for some of that obliteration if we're going to take on the Shadow Queen. The rest of you, put everything you got into what you do best. Be that researching or blade work. Overdoing it is doing it just right, if you get my meaning. I'll decorate my walls with void-sent heads if I have to. The skies should belong to no one. The Nullstone has fallen into mortal hands. 1,000 apologies, Lord Diabolos. I shall personally wring each and every one of their scrawny necks. The time for skulking in shadows has ended. I am grown weary of these meddling vermin. The power of the Shadow Queen waxes full. Soon my ardent desire shall pass from dream into dark reality. Sylvania, Kate just sent me out to find you. You have a proper knack for showing up at just the right time, you know that? Anyway, Kate Sif cracked open that tome what we got from Radlia. It has been studying all the Nullstone's secrets. He thinks he may be onto something important, not just concerning Diablos and the Shadow Queen, but also the cat himself. Come on, back to the Parak, and we can all hear what he has to say together. Thank the winds that you're here at last, but Thurber refuses to share until you'd arrived. Kate Sif has the darkest look on his face. As I suspected, this tome was penned by a Mhach sorcerer of superior standing. As well as detailing the methods by which the full power of a nullstone might be unleashed, its pages also contain a number of revelations concerning my master, High Void Mage Cessair. If these histories are to be trusted, then it seems that Cessair herself was responsible for summoning Diabolos. But I thought your master was opposed to supporting the war effort. Why would she be the one to call up that bat-winged monster? Cessair only agreed to the ritual as a means to bring the conflict to an early resolution. From what I can glean from these pages, Diabolos was intended as a bluff, a threat that was never to be exercised. But those arrogant imbeciles ignored my master's carefully laid restrictions and elected to unleash the fiend upon Amdapor. It was when Cessair moved to protest this act that she was branded a traitor and imprisoned. Once they had contained the opposition, the Void Mages studied all manner of otherworldly arts as the talent fiend of their new pet. The most dangerous of which was the rite for summoning Skatach, and the method for chaining her power. Yet even after all they had perpetrated, these ambitious fools had the gall to come crawling to Cessair when the coming of a great flood was predicted. They begged her to take control of the Void Ark, for the salvation of the Mhach people. As you saw for yourself, however, the energies of the Shadow Queen broke loose and turned the vessel into a derelict nest of void scent. It seems obvious now that the arts taught by Diabolos were deliberately flawed. The only saving grace in all this madness was when that damnable feat was sealed away by the white mages of Amdapor. I shudder to think what would have happened had he been united with his queen. So now, 1500 years later, Diabolos is looking to finish what he started. I thought the bad-faced bastard was just some opportunistic underling, but it turns out he's the main villain behind this whole mess. Were Cessair alive today, she would accept responsibility for unleashing Diabolos upon the world. As the High Void Mage is familiar, it's my duty to act in her stead. I have deciphered the secrets of the Nullstone, and with its undiluted power shall I erase Diabolos from existence. I like your spirit, Puss, but try not to rush in too quickly, eh? Getting yourself killed won't do us, or your master, any good. Wait, no one's rushing in anywhere just yet, or have you forgotten we're still in the middle of scouting out the fiend's lair? We've got the compass to go by, aye, but who knows what kind of place it'll lead us to, or how many demons will be lying in wait when we get there. We fly in with our eyes open, or risk getting slaughtered like the Talons. Ah yes, speaking of which, the tome made mention of a potential location for... We're under attack. Oh? Leofard! Behind... He's behind you. Curse you, fiend! Diabolos.
At last, At long last.
This is far from over, demon. We'll not allow an abomination like the Shadow Queen to rule the world.
Then thou knowest naught of ruling. It is might which decideth dominion. But believe what thou must, frail creature. You are playthings. Your screams of denial shall amuse me as I send this rock and all upon it to shatter upon the ground below.
Hello, Radlia. God, is that Radlia? Where has she been hiding that ship? The big one there.
I would not tire my arm with the swatting of so many flies. But Nullstone is mine, and there is yet much to be done.
Let's smirk again. The last of the Nullstone is on my head, and I shall see that we win it back. How are there still so many talents? I thought they were massacred at Mhach. I ain't a healer, but I'd say you've broken your arm. A couple of ribs, a bruised half of your innards. We need to get you some splints and bandages. Would you look at that sorry excuse for a sky pirate? I knew Radlia and this ragtag crew couldn't be trusted with saving the skies. Consider our debt repaid. Well, ain't I a lucky sort. 2 demons in one day. Found some new dogs to lick your boots, Radlia. Is that any way to welcome me back to the life? We need allies, and persuading our reluctant fellows to join in common purpose is a feat only a woman of my charming beauty could accomplish. And besides, you look too injured to be of much use to anyone. You'd best take to your bed, old man, and let me and your champion there take care of a Voidsent. What, so you can tuck tail and run again at the first sign of trouble? You'd not even be standing there if it ran from me, and even with me arm busted up, I'm still twice the pirate you are. Nay, I think you should stay behind this time, Leofard. We must pursue Diabolos without you. Time is of the essence, and we cannot afford to wait for you to heal. We must take advantage of Captain Radlia's reinforcements and proceed with all haste. Did the demon drop you on your head, Furbo? Without me where to run things, you'll just end up getting in Serenia's way, and no one's making haste anywhere until we know what we're flying into. Again, Captain Radlia may hold the answer to that dilemma. I suspect that the island where she uncovered the Mhachite tome is the very location where Diablos has chosen to lair. This floating marvel I speak of is not a natural occurrence. It was constructed as a haven for refugees of the flood. The tome makes very clear reference to that island's purpose and describes in detail the voids and sorcery employed in its creation. As the Void Ark never arrived at its destination, however, the island remained uninhabited. I can imagine no more suitable hideaway for our scheming fiend. Even better, Diablos will not expect us to suddenly arrive at his secluded doorstep. The Talon fleet will carve us a path through the lesser fiends, and we shall strike swiftly into the heart of the confusion to seize the Nullstone. Once the relic is secured, I will use its power to obliterate our devilish foe. As a sky pirate, surely you understand how such an assault relies on speed and surprise. We cannot have a wounded companion slow us down and potentially doom the entire enterprise. So you think you're in charge now, huh? Puss. Poor broken Leofard, just some dead weight you need to cut away. You know what? I've had a belly full of your muling in any case. Go on. Fly off without me and see how far you get with your tri-stamped enterprise. Captain Radlia, compare the direction indicated by the ecto compass with your navigational records, if you please. I think we'll find the coordinates coincide with the island in question. Certainly. And feel free to board our flagship when you're set to depart. My darling's large enough to accommodate your adventurer and your fellows with room to spare. Don't you worry, I keep an eye on the captain while everyone's off on this grand adventure. Without him, are you certain you don't need me to go without you? To go with you? This adventure is all yours, Serenia. I'll be cheering for you from my sickbed, like a good little pirate. Promise. This is the way it must be. Considering our need for haste and the extent of Leofard's injuries, my conclusion was merely logical. Captain Redbill's primary concern should be securing the freedom of the skies, not limping into almost certain death at the hands of a Voidsent, no matter how much he chafes at being excluded from the voyage. XIV was only talking common sense. The captain took it hard, but I think he knows it too. We're doing the right thing leaving him behind, ain't we? I acquired our splendid flagship after the Ishgardians saw fit to abandon her. I hear she was an attempt to match the airborne agility of her dragon enemies, but the vessel never did live up to expectations. When she passed to me, we replaced all the improvements with structural reinforcements and made ourselves a flying fortress. Our stately castle will not soon be knocked from the sky. And that means next time we enter Dun's Gate, or however you pronounce it, and yeah, maybe see this adventure end? Probably. Anyway, until next time, I am Ace, and don't get lost.